Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome so much to the stream. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I've got a lot of stuff to cover. As the title suggests, we're going to look at Wilford Warfstache, Wilford Mother-Loving Warfstache, I apologize. And we're going to break down the entirety of the production of that video, and we're going to talk about some general life stuff to catch up. But before we do that, we're going to let people filter into the stream a little bit, and then I'm going to cover some little housekeeping things that I have on my list over here, and then we're going to get into the main brunch of it. I'm going to go through my list. I've only got 3 things, so it's not very long. And then we're going to watch through the video Wilford Mother-Loving Warfstache. We're actually going to watch it together, but it's going to be a lot of stopping and starting. I'm going to bring up production pictures as it's necessary, and then we're going to basically just have some fun, watch it, commentate on it. I'm going to reveal a bit of my thoughts behind the story of it. There's been a lot of very good, theorizing about it. A few people actually have nearly nailed it on the head of what I wanted, and I think that's good because what I was going for in this one was just, I wanted it to be less complicated. And I think that's in its nature, it's just overall generally less complicated. So I was actually of the mind that I didn't even want to say very much because people were getting it, people were understanding it, and people were also understanding the other ancillary feature, which is just don't look into it too deeply. But other than that, yeah, I'm wearing glasses today, so how you guys doing? Yes, this is absolutely live. It is 100% live. And basically, Markiplier reacts to his own video. Pretty much. We've done this for the past few ones. This one, I'm just doing it by myself because I was, I guess, kind of the sole creative push behind this. Amy had a great deal of inspiration for it, but she is busy with other stuff, as I'll explain why. She has to go get her phone fixed, and that's my fault, partially, but she has to go get her phone fixed, and I just wanted to sit down and kind of go through this with you guys as we go through it, like we did with Who Killed Markiplier and like we did a date with Markiplier, and also talk about other things. So, hello, hi. Where am I at? I'm home right now, but I haven't been home, which is another thing that I'm going to talk about in the beginning of this. I'm just gonna spend like 30 minutes to go through the life stuff and the general catch up of other things. Then we're gonna get into the main brunt of it. Yeah, I've had these glasses for a bit. I just don't wear them very often. I've been doing context for the most part, and then yeah, let me explain something. I flew in this morning. I have not slept actually. I was in Hawaii recently for a vacation. That's second on my list, so I'll get to that in a bit. First and foremost, number one, I wanted to mention this before anything else. Some of you may have seen the community post that I made, and some of you may have seen Tyler's video that he posted on his channel. It's actually the first video he's ever posted, and kind of kicking off a few videos that he wants to make. If you didn't know, Tyler's mom has cancer. Tyler, Stoneface Tyler, one word Tyler, my friend Tyler. So he posted a video talking about it and talking about, his obviously love for his mother and what he plans to do with it and what he plans to create and how he plans to cherish the the moments he has with his mom. And so if you can go find the community post, you can find it at youtube.com/Markiplier/community. You can look for it right there. It should be the last thing I've posted there. Or you can go over to his channel, just search up apocalypto_12 on YouTube. It'll be the only video that's on his channel. So check that out. There's not really much that you can do to support other than just, looking forward to the cool videos that he's going to make with his mom. So that was going to be first and foremost. Number 2, where have I been? Yes, floof there for power. My hair is extremely, unbelievably floofy. It's got a lot of salt water in it. I've been on vacation. I have. I kind of went radio silent after the sprint of getting this video done, Warfstache video done, and then everything that came before it with all the writing I've been doing, the planning, the getting things in motion, and the headache of just wanting to do so much and having so little to show for it. So I've been putting off this vacation forever. If you know me, I don't take vacations, but I owe it to myself and to Amy to go on a vacation. So we went out to Hawaii, the place where I was born. Not that I have any connection to it other than that, but we went out to Hawaii and we stayed out there for this past week. And it was wonderful. It was really, really honestly wonderful. I don't do well when I'm not working, so of course I was still working while I was over there. I actually wrote another video that's probably the next one that I'm going to do. I think I wrote the next project like the Wilford Warfstache video that I'm going to do. So this music's a little too creepy for this. Why is this music so creepy? Give me something cheery. No. Nope. Here we go. That's good. Yeah, I don't know why I was so creepy about that. Yeah. So I took a break. We went over to Hawaii and we did just basically typical relaxing things. We didn't do much. We chilled out. We hung out by the beach. We went ziplining, which I actually have some pictures. Those of you who know me know that I'm very, very afraid of the ocean. But I'm proud to say, here I am on the ocean. In the middle of nowhere. I would not get in the ocean. We had the chance to go scuba diving and snorkeling, and I'm like, no, I'm not good for that. I'm not good for that. But I did go on the ocean, which was very nice. Every time I'd fall off, this is a paddleboard. Every time I'd fall off, it'd be a scrambling panic to try to get back on the board, but you know, it was fun because we got to have a lot of fun. It was nice to get some sun. You can see how pasty I am here, and I've actually got some sun, so I'm tan now. And also, like, while I was out there, it was this really, really beautiful beach that we were on. You know, you could really see like the clear water, and I was just paddling along, and this turtle just popped up out of nowhere. This turtle is just here, and just like I was able to snap a picture of it. Oh, also the reason why Amy has to go get her phone fixed is because I brought her phone out to take some pictures and fell in the ocean, and it was fine for a bit. But probably as of just like 12 hours ago when we loaded onto the plane to come back here, it just shut off and didn't turn back on. So oops. Yeah, that didn't go so good. But it was really fun. So we did that, and then we also went ziplining, which is really cool. Just like Amy and I, we went ziplining, and we went through this one in Piloe, something like that. This ziplining place, really cool place. We had a ton of fun with it. Like they have the longest zip line in Hawaii at a half a mile long, like a half a mile zip line. And I've got a video to show you guys. Let me load it up real quick. But it was just super fun. It was good times all around. I've never been ziplining before. This is probably gonna be loud. Let me turn the volume down on this, because it's just like wind whipping as far as the eye can see. So let's see, I'm right about, yeah, here we go. Okay, so let me turn the music off real quick. And oops, nope, stop. Here we go. Alright, so yeah, I've never been ziplining before, and we just go ziplining. And so you'll see me grimacing because I very stupidly had my phone out and the wind was catching it, so I was squeezing as hard as I could to try to keep a hold of my phone. I only recorded one of them. This was like the second of 5 lines that we did, and that's a starfish maneuver to slow down. And so yeah, we did that. Anyway, so that was real fun. And then we went to see the island from a helicopter tour, and that was goddamn beautiful. Like, words can't describe what that helicopter tour was like, just being able to see everything on the island, see all the natural beauty of Hawaii. But this picture of my face might. So Amy snuck this picture. Amy snuck this picture of me looking out the window at just the fucking beauty of it. Like, it was so unabashedly gorgeous, and I was just staring out the window the entire time. I was just like, oh my god, just look at the landscape there. And just to give you some perspective of what we were looking at, it's like, again, picture does no justice to this, but we were up at about like 2,000, 3,000 feet, just looking down at these sheer cliffs, just huge cliffs, and there were waterfalls, like tiny little strings of waterfalls all throughout this entire landscape. Just like, it's so unbelievably beautiful, like just ridiculously beautiful. And we went out on we were super lucky. The day we went out, it was just the right amount of clouds, clear. Oh, God, it was beautiful. So it was a wonderful vacation. I'm really happy that I went, but also I'm really happy to be back, and I'm really happy to be back here where I can make videos again, because I know for a fact that I have not been making videos, and that's been chewing me up inside, to be perfectly honest. But thankfully, Gritty Sugar had that wonderful animation. The getting over it animation was just goddamn amazing. So I'm back, had a great time with vacation, and it was great to, oh man. It was just great to get some brain, ooze, get the brain gunk out of my ears, take in some, nature. I hardly ever get out of the house, so going out of the house to Hawaii and seeing, the beaches and the sunsets and the landscape was just, exactly what I needed. And it's been great, so now we get to do what we need. Why am I wearing a backpack? No, it's just a coat. It's got a hood. Yeah. It's a little cold in here, which is better than the alternative of it being hot in here. So next on my list, someone asked, has anyone gotten the phone number yet? The digits thing. Okay, so this has been another headache of mine, but thankfully it's not been a headache for me. It's been a headache for the company doing it. So it's been overwhelming. And they have actually told me specifically to try to minimize the amount of texting I've been putting out, because the way the system works is it collates numbers and it sends out responses so that people can fill out contact information, and then I can have a phone book of people in my phone. And it's not so that they text me directly and my phone blows up. It's an intermediary so that I can text people one at a time, or in groups, or in bulk. I can text people by when it's your birthday. I can wish you happy birthday, stuff like that. I can text people state by state. But the system has just been crushed by you. So in all honesty, it's your fault, but it's finally catching up now. I'm very happy to say, and trust me, this is good news. There's only 91,000 people left waiting in line. And that number has been steadily going down. People keep adding into it, but it's been trending down, which is the first time it's been trending down to completion. So it's going, but it'll get there soon. So if you haven't gotten it yet, there's 91,000 people left waiting, and that's more people will filter in, but that's trickling down slow. So I have not been able to send out texts as much as I want to, but that's just because if I send out texts to everybody, that just means people wait longer. So I've been waiting for the system to catch up, and then we've been getting things in order. So that's en route. All right, so I think that catches up everything. That was everything that was on my list. How are you guys doing? You guys good? Yeah, you guys good? It still doesn't work internationally yet, because it doesn't even work in America yet. We haven't gotten it fully fleshed out, but it's a really cool system, and we're just I don't know, it's just a whole bunch of things that I'm really excited for, and it was a lot of that headache that got vented out when I took a little bit of vacation. And I didn't want to take a vacation, but, I did, and I'm glad I did, so. Love my hair. Why? It is a mess. I literally walked off the beach onto the plane and then came out here, so it's just this entire, smorgasbord of sand and salt and everything else that's left from Hawaii that I decided to take with me. Is I a dog? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. It would explain a lot of things, but yeah. Let's see. Am I going to play any games today? Not on this live stream. This live stream is going to be now just focused on analyzing Wilford Motherloving Warfstache. I'm going to show you guys some behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to show you guys some of the thought process behind it, and I'm going to show you guys the other things that I have in mind for it, and we're going to walk through it together and just kind of discuss it. And I gotta say thank you guys so much for being so enthusiastically responsive to this video. I'm so happy that you guys liked it. So many of you liked it, and it really does warm my heart, because this project, this one was the first tester of seeing if I could make these in a higher production way while also being more expedient about it, getting them out in a more timely fashion. Because here's some facts about the production. I wrote the script in a day, I sent it off to the production company, and then we had to wait because various other life things got in the way. But once production got rolling and we found stuff, it was planned in a week. We shot it in 3 days, and then I edited it in 3 days. So, in all honesty, it took about 2 weeks to make that whole thing. As nice as it looked, as well done as it was, and I'll show you some of the cheats that we made to make it work better, but as nice as it was and as done up as it was, like, this was not that hard to make. The production company that I was working with, like, really made life a lot easier, and it was a tester because with the new sponsorship system, or as it's called now, channel memberships, so the sponsor button is now a join button, but with the funding from you guys to put towards this video, I wanted to see if it was at all possible, and it was. And that's the great news about it. Like, it was. The system works. It does work. I know enough to make it work. The production company I can trust enough to make it work. And then when it all comes together, because, like, I wrote it and I was directing it and I was able to, like, tell people exactly what I needed because I knew I was going to edit it, it came together really, really well. So, moving forward from that, you guys can see a bit more into the inside of it. So, let's turn off the music and let's get into the brunt of this. So, we're going to start off. I'm going to stop a lot because there's going to be a lot of times when I'm just going to pause it and I'm going to pull up some pictures and stuff, and we're just going to go through that. So, let's just get into this. Oh man, this opening, just love it so much. I'm so happy. Also, this video was shot in 4K and I uploaded it in 4K. It's probably the first video I've ever done in 4K. So I'm stopping it here just to talk about, like, this opening shot. This was not only the first shot of the video, this was the first shot of the entire shoot. Like, this was the moment when we had no idea whether it was going to work or not, because I'd never worked with this production company before. The director of cinematography, Dan, I'd never worked with him before, so it was really like I was just trying to translate what I wanted into the video itself. And I was like, this has to be film noir. This is film noir. This is dripping film noir. This is over-enthusiastically cliched film noir, and that was very important because of the detective's character. Here's a picture of Mick and I just, like, hanging out. This is the setting that it was. Like, it really was interesting because it already had a corkboard up here. The chalkboard was already there. Mick basically wrote out a bunch of names at will. We didn't plan any of those names. He just wrote out names as will and, like, filled out that chalkboard. We had a set dresser kind of fill out the rest of it. And then I'm just here trying to pull up, like, my script, my notes, music that I had planned, because I'd already picked out the pieces of music. One of the ways that I like to work in terms of writing is, like, when I write, I like to get the music in mind, because the music really sets the mood for what I want. And it really helps convey message on set whenever I'm trying to explain things to people that don't understand how the final product. That's the biggest important thing about production in general. If you're in a production or if you're working with people to try to make something happen, like, getting them on the same page as you in your mind know it is the most important thing possible. So once I was able to, like, get everyone going and, like, kind of, like, give everyone an idea of what I wanted, it was a lot easier to put out. And so when it came down to making, like, things work, and, like, here's just an example of, like, what we had going on. Like, I wasn't even in costume yet, and I was gonna be. And it was so weird because the first day of shooting, like, we did the beginning and end of the videos. So we had to do the end of it before we even really, like, got confident about what we were doing. So it's this really nice camera over here. I think this is like an FS7, I believe. This is Dan. Dan was the man with all the photography stuff. This is Chris. I don't know who this is, but I know them, but I can't tell who this is behind their back. So Dan would just, like, shout out. We get the lighting set up so quick and efficient, well done all across the board. And then once we found out that the first shot was going to work, yeah, well, I don't know why that's a video, but once we found out why the first shot was going to work, when we could see it on the monitor with, like, a test LUT, which is just a color correction thing, once we saw that, we were like, oh my God, this is going to work. All the beautiful shots, not that the things that we've done ourselves in the past have been ugly, but all the beautiful shots of like movie level cinematography, which is what I wanted, were all Dan. Dan and his team, like the people lighting it, like, he was just so quick and able to just respond on the fly. Dan is the fucking man. And that's not the same Dan from the tour, that is a different Dan. But anyway, so Dan is the man. This is Dan, Dan's the man. He is super good. Also, Mick. Good God, Mick. Mick is just an incredible actor. All right, we're going to carry on. So all in all, I wanted it to drip with film noir. And that's very important just because to him, nothing else could be.
I've never been much for smoking, but taking a bullet to the chest will make you a lot less worried about the slow deaths of the world. Long story short, I took a job I shouldn't have. They say the pretty ones will always get you killed, but he was so damn handsome I just couldn't resist.
A little bit of clarification there. When he's referring to taking a job from a pretty one, like the one that's so damn handsome is actor Mark from Who Killed Markiplier. He's not referring to Warfstache there because he took the job from actor Mark to do it. And he's saying that. So just a little clarification.
I was a frog in a slow pot of boiling water, or the first clown to get into the clown car. You don't know to get out until it's too late.
I had so many more clown jokes in my first script. I had so many more clown jokes in my first script that that just didn't make it into the final cut. So there's a deleted scene in this I'll show you in a second that I didn't end up using. But just like I wanted this running theme of clowns, and then just because it was like I thought it was funny if just like because I was trying to write in jokes, like all this is just jokes intermixed with normal film noir. Like he's doing this speech that everybody knows, the film noir speech, the voice in the head just like thinking out loud, kind of just talking about reality. It's exposition, but it's exposition in such a stylistic way that nobody minds that it's exposition. Yeah.
One thing led to another, and I found myself slow dancing with the devil in the moonlight. Except instead of leaving room for Jesus, he left room for a .357 Magnum.
And you'll find, like, in this dialogue, he's saying over and over, like, the events of Who Killed Markiplier. That's basically all he's talking about here. I put this here because I wanted this to be able to exist as a standalone thing, where if someone was watching this and didn't watch Who Killed Markiplier, they would still know what's going on. That's basically
I won't bore you with the details, so I'll cut right to the quick. A lot of people died because of this man. William J. Damn it. Come on. William J. Barnum, a.k.a. the Colonel.
Okay, little thing about this, not planned in any way, shape, or form. Not planned at all. We meant for it to go right in the first time. It was so damn funny.
Because of this man.
Like, because it just like, it was such this piddly little like thing. And like I put that in the first promo I put out, but in the first promo, you can hear us laughing just off the screen, just laughing super hard because we just didn't expect. And then it happened again. Like Mick was really trying to get it in there, and just like it just shows his hand acting. Like his goddamn hand acting was so good. So it was just third try.
J. Barnum,
so that was just something like
the Colonel.
Like we just made it work. Like we made it work. We didn't plan that in any way. Just happened to go that way. So yeah.
Just like the clown at my bar mitzvah, I knew he was trouble from the moment I laid eyes on him. And just like Bozo the Magnificent, a lot of people died when he walked into my life. I've been chasing him down ever since. We were like two naked men running on the same treadmill.
Okay, so one thing I want to point out that is often like amazingly overlooked in a lot of the theory stuff I had, he's got a vape. That's not just a joke. He's got a fucking vape. He's got vapes through the whole video. He's got lots of vapes. Like, it's funny. It is funny. But also, like, this was intentionally written in. The reason being is, like, that doesn't belong in film noir time. Why is that there? Oh, well, anyway. And even him, like, just giving it, like, that slight glance. This is also, like, Mick. Just, like, he looks at it, doesn't see anything weird with it. That's fine.
Just
Yeah.
a step behind.
That's important.
But no one can run forever, especially not with 200 pounds of sweaty detective breathing down your neck. It hasn't been easy, though. I can't count how many countries I've cornered him in. Couldn't tell you how many times I've had him in my big, strong hands. Every time I think I've got him for good, he somehow manages to slip away.
Okay, so I wanted to write in early, like, clues that Mick kind of understands what's going on, but doesn't know specifics of it. Like, the concept of, he says, and I wrote very specifically,
Strong hands.
like, couldn't tell you how many countries.
Tell you how many times I've had him in my big.
Couldn't tell you how many times I've had him in my big strong hands. He's saying that, and that's a phrase, but also he can't tell you how many times he's had him in his big strong hands. He's just saying that because, like, that's what's expected, like, to be said.
Count how many countries I've cornered him in.
Can't count how many countries I've cornered him in. Can't count. Unable to.
Couldn't tell you how many times I've had him in my big, strong hands.
Couldn't tell you.
Every time I think I've got him for good, he somehow manages to slip away.
Somehow.
But he's running out of holes to hide in. I mean that literally, metaphorically, and euphemistically. It doesn't matter how crafty you think you are. If you've been on the run for years and years,
All right, perfect.
eventually,
Thanks.
you're gonna make a mistake.
All right. So that was pretty much the opening chunk. The first half of the first day of filming was just filming that, like figuring it out. And one of the things that I love about like doing this on the fly is I didn't write in the toilet scene. There was a toilet, and I was like, what if we have him having a revelation on the toilet? Because we knew he'd need a revelation, and he would pop up and he would go. Or I knew he would. You know, it was like, can we have him on the toilet? And then the rest of the team was just like, sure. And they lug this like $20,000 camera rig into the bathroom area. Like, this is just like it was a series of jail cells, and like just one of them happened to be lit, and we were just like, yeah, why don't we just cram it in there and see what happens? And so we did. And it's just like, I love. Whoops. Sorry, I knocked out my leg. But we did, and it was just like, it was just fun. Like, it's fun to work with people that are flexible like that don't have like an adherence to absolute strictness of what it was, and what it's quote unquote supposed to be. Okay, so now I'm gonna bring up a deleted scene, if I can. Oh, also, funnily enough, I didn't know the video was gonna be titled "Wilford Motherloving Warfstache" until the day before I uploaded the video. The working title that I had was actually called "Sunday Evening Heat," as a parody of Saturday Night Fever. Probably Sunday Evening Heat was a porn video's name, like one of those parody porns that would have done Saturday Night Fever, but that's just, I didn't know what I was doing, so I just ended up doing that. But there was another take oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to find out which am I? Which one would you have been? Oh, this not showing me any thumbnails. Let me try opening it in. I'm gonna open my Premiere file. This is going to be a nightmare. If the whole stream crashes, it's just because everything exploded. But it's gonna be there real soon. But yeah, this deleted scene, and I'll show you a few like scenes that like. We didn't really delete a lot of scenes. We didn't actually have that many bloopers, to be perfectly honest. Just because we were on such a tight schedule, we didn't get a chance to goof around too much. But this one was one that I actually wrote in, and we ended up not using because when I was editing, I was like, that doesn't really fit. Like, it's really funny, but gosh, if it doesn't fit. Oh, you guys want to see like the actual nightmare of the the actual nightmare of the Premiere file? It's right here. Yeah, this is that's what you render down to get the video, and like I had to render this a few times because I had to render out lossless with the ending, without the ending, because these transitions at the end like were super harsh. Like, this is just layers of dialogue, sound effect. One of the great things about doing audio with a professional audio mixer is we have audio from a lot of sources. So I have audio from lavs. We are wearing lavs. He's got one boom. He's got another boom, like a wider boom. He's got a close boom. Like layering those sounds makes dialogue a lot more robust. Like in a lot of audio engineering, sometimes they capture the same audio source from a lot of different microphones, just because when you layer those on top of each other, like it just sounds more robust. The sound is better. It's more true to life when you have a lot of microphone ears on it and you play it over. So when I was doing that, it was just like, oh, this nightmare of like constant stuff. But yeah, so let me see if I can find the correct one that I was doing to get everything. I gotta dig for this. This will be just better in the long run for me finding these, I think anyway. Was it sequence 1 or was it sequence 2? Or was it sequence 3? 3? Was it 3? I think it might have been 3. Yeah, it was 3. Okay. So, but this doesn't have... All right, let me try this another way. I forgot when I was pulling the footage, hardest thing about editing one of these is just the sheer amount of footage that you have to work with. This is over 2 hours of footage, not even half of what we shot in the first day. Like, it's an astronomical amount of footage. And that's good. You want as much footage as we possibly could because we covered this from a lot of angles. And so having that just in general was really, really beneficial. Well, let me see if I can find this. This isn't even going to be worth it. You guys are going to look at me and be like, this, good thing you cut it out of there, you stupid idiot. I'm going to be like, okay, well, no need to be mean about it. Okay, here we go. All right, so, yeah, so this is the deleted scene that we had.
Give it more of a, like a pull with your head, like kind of like, you don't have to pull it tight up.
Because I wanted this escalation of like his different vices that he had going on before he got down to. So I wanted him just about to shoot up some heroin.
This is only going to be 5 seconds, so
We just had so many of these sweeps from right to left over and over and over again. It was just like, I thought it'd be funny if like, you watch this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, wait, let's, here it goes, here we go.
action. Inspiration.
And yeah, no, didn't end up using it. And then I told them that yank harder. You gotta really yank it. Like, come on, you're really stressed.
Action.
That's the kind of direction that I have it. Really yank it. So like I almost put that in the final one, but no, it didn't work out. Also, you can't really see, but there's strings everywhere, like absolutely destroying this entire thing with strings. I want you to like the sheer difference in terms of like having the excuse me, having the color correction there and not is so amazing. Like just I'll never not work with raw footage again because just being able to pull these colors out of it was and I'm not a color corrector. I want to be very, very frank about that. I am not a color corrector, but just being able to do this like with these colors, like just added so much more flexibility and depth, and like I could change like the mood of it and hit him harder with this. And when Warfstache is doing his thing, like, you know, I could really bust out the colors there and like make it seem like super over the top. Where even is it? I don't even know. It's my favorite scene in the whole thing. Like just the dance bit, just like these fucking gorgeous colors. Just like and just look at it without like not that one. This one. Yeah, just look at this without. Like without. It still looks good, but just it's like it's just like this explosion of color. It's just it's so beautiful. It's like hits you in the face. Just like and that's kind of like I wanted that feel of it, and it's just like, oh my god, this is just me nerding out about like video editing bullshit, but just oh my god, just look at this. It looks like, I don't know. It doesn't even look. What is this supposed to be? Is that a pink? Boom! Oh shit! Yeah, good god, love it. Yeah, and this is obviously, this is oversaturated. Like, this is way over. I think this is at 200. Yeah, this is at 200 because I wanted this one to contrast so harshly with the film noir black and white, and even the film noir like halftone. This is at, I believe this is at 25% saturation. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is 25. So at 100%, this would look so very different, like completely different mood. And I wanted them to blend together because of the way, you know, his film noir was butting up against it. So this had to look way under, and this had to look way over. Like, that was just the natural of it. And then once you get to here, I believe this is at 150. Yeah, not quite over the top, but still way saturated. So, like, I used color as like that storytelling element in this. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get back to watching the video here.
You think you are. If you've been on the run for years and years,
All right, perfect.
eventually, you're gonna make a mistake. Word of advice, if you're running away from your problems, never become too attached to anything. Family, lovers, briefcases on top of your car. Some things are best left behind. The Colonel's a slippery one, shedding names as easily as a snake sheds a few pounds before bikini season. He's gone through pseudonym after pseudonym trying to cover his tracks, but he always manages to
Okay, here's the next thing that not many people talked about. Just in this shot, this is one continuous shot, by the way. This going up here, there's no vape. No vape.
He's gone through pseudonym after pseudonym trying
Suddenly
to cover
vape.
his tracks, but he always manages.
Well, that's weird. Where'd that come from? Oh, yeah, that's a single shot. Suddenly, no vape. Vape.
Pseudonym after pseudonym trying to cover his tracks. But he
A little bit of
always
a, that was
manages to
a
fall
very
back
sleight of
to the
hand
same
of
familiar
Mick,
ways.
and then just a little bit of video
fighting,
editing to cover up a
flirting.
small flicker of a hand that passed up. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, also for this car scene, I have to commend the people who, like Dan and all those guys, like he called it the poor man's process, and my goodness, was it amazing what he pulled off. So how many of you guys out there would even know that that car was not on the road? Like, because it wasn't. That car was not on the road in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I mean, some of you may have been like, oh, it was on a green screen, right? It's like, not even a green screen. Not even a green screen. It was in this warehouse. This is where we shot every single car scene. This. That's it. And it's just like, this was it. We had people running lights to pass lights by the car over and over again to simulate the look of cars passing by this thing. And it's just like, it was astronomical, like what you could get away with just by like fudging it this way. Yeah, I mean, it looked like totally convincing, and like not completely, obviously, but it had it down to the details. Like if you look here, one of the things that I like find the most interesting, also with like the briefcase joke, but this that looks like a headlight. That looks like a headlight. That honestly, if I didn't point it out that that's not a headlight, that looks just like a headlight. That looks like a car's headlight or a motorcycle headlight. But that's just Dan and his lighting guys knowing so minutely what little splash of light against like just the edge of the frame here will look like in comparison to everything else. So let me play you a video real quick about this, just because I find it so fascinating. I was taking this while I was waiting for us to get through this part here. So this video is everything in action.
If you want to see a bit of movie magic and how this is made, this is how we shot the filming scene. We have people on lights. We have someone shaking a car. Briefcase on top there, and yeah.
And just some guy pressing his foot into the car, and that's what it looks like.
Movie magic.
And that's it. That's it. Yeah. Like if you're doing something low budget, and we were doing something low budget, but if you're doing something low budget, you don't need amazing to look good. All it has to do is tell the idea. We just needed the idea that he was driving. And like we did it in a convincing way that really like sold the whole thing. The briefcase jokes. We just had a string pull a briefcase off and someone threw papers into a fan.
Left behind.
Like that's it. The gag is done, and like it's done in a way. And then you splice some shots like this, where we just went out and we filmed some shots, we blew them out, and it was just like, yeah, there's perfect transition footage to make it look like he's driving, and like that's all you need. That's all you need to tell a story. It's just like you just need, and it's so brilliant because I never would have thought of that. But Dan knows his shit, and is just like, oh, we could do this with this, and it's like, this looks so good. And he had this slider and like this sliding shot, like we just moved the black like tarp that we had behind it to move over. We adjusted the lights a little bit, still have them going. You never know.
But he always manages to fall back into the same.
And we just had him look, and it was just like we had a light pop up just as he was going there, and then we just got a shot outside of some place that looked like it would match the theme, which is the Moonlight Rollerway, which some of you might recognize from the Ninja Sex Party video, Cool Patrol. It's a lovely place, and it's just like, it's just amazing what you can get away with. And then the disco was a completely different location. Like this transition was just completely different. So it's just fascinating. Like the ways that you can make things happen when you just want them to happen. Like if you want to make things work, like you can just make it work. There's no two ways about it. Okay, so let's get into the disco. My favorite part of the whole goddamn video is the disco scene.
The Colonel was always one for the eccentrics, but his latest persona takes the entire cake shop. Wilford Motherloving Warfstache.
Sorry? Hey, how's it going? I'm here. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right here. Sorry, that was making me laugh. I just wanted to give a shout out to the extras that stopped by. These guys answered the call for the text that I sent out through that number, the digits number. Like I texted people in the LA area, they responded, they went to an email, and they showed up and they just dedicated their day to be here and just dance and have fun. And I'm so unbelievably grateful that they did. It was so nice of them to like just show up and be here, and they made it perfect. And these guys showed up, and it's just like, you guys are perfect, because we wanted like the crowd to close in and just like stop the detective in his tracks, and just being able to see like this orchestration of just beauty here and this thunk. Like these two guys just come up, hey, can you just squish Mick real hard and just like dance like there's no tomorrow? And they're like, yeah, sure, all right, let's do this. And it was just like, oh man, it was so good. I think their names was Marco and Lopez, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I have a list of all the names somewhere. But, I mean, you'll see, like, in the background, like, this guy's in the band, and he was up on stage, but, you know, he's down here. She was one of the dancers, but she's down here. Because we just made it work with, like, the limited number of extras that we had, but it looked like the whole place was full, right? Like, it looked like we had 100 people in there. We had 30, and we just moved it around as much as we could. It was like this, so good. I love this so much. Just, oh, man. Yeah, and then just like we got a lot of B-roll of like just people dancing, and like they were so enthusiastic, they were so into it. And it was like boom, boom. so good. Like, I'm just so happy with how this scene worked out. Because, again, it was another thing that I had no idea how it was going to work. I've never worked with extras before. And, like, just be able to go up to him and be like, hey, I know this seems weird, but we're just going to have some fun. Like, I'm going to try to keep the AC on as much as we can. And we're just going to get, we're just going to get through this. It's going to be a great time. We're going to take breaks. If you need water, like, we'll get you water. And it was just so nice to be able to, like, hang out with these people and just like have some fun with it and just have a good time. So yeah, I was just happy about that. Oh, and just to go back, one small thing. This like whole sequence was, we had this very, I basically the backup dancer, I was just like, okay, we're gonna do this thing where we just bop like this 8 times, then we're gonna go like this 8 times, and then we're gonna go like this for 4 counts, this for 4 counts, and then we're going to repeat. So it's not all that. And then we did some free form bullshit there, but that's a horrible picture. But I wanted to stop here because I wanted to show you some alternate costumes that we were thinking of for Warfstache. Before we landed on this, we had a few other options. From as simple to a color palette shift, like we had this other alternative where the pants were pink and the shirt was yellow, because that felt like, originally in my mind, it felt like that might have been more in tune. If you zoom in real close, you can see my nip-nop right there. And it felt like this would have been more in line with like his previous costumes, but when I looked at it, it just didn't feel right. It seemed too normal. It wasn't exactly like disco in a weird way. And so when we came down to it, it was just like, nah, that doesn't really work. Like, what can we do to like change it out? And it was just like, okay, what about this? We had like yellow pants. We had this power suit, like this connected like whatever suit here, and it was yellow jacket, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like something's not right about it. Like this one, the jacket's huge, and so it was like, do we change the jacket out? And like this looks stupid, and we were like, I could see it, but then I really can't see it. And the whole unfair thing is that Mick like put on his first set of clothes. It was like, looked fucking amazing. And it's like, God damn it, Mick, you handsome bastard. Why do you got to look good immediately? We had like one other coat option and he changed that out and it was just like, okay, all right, you're fine. Whatever we got, that's fine enough. So then we landed finally on this kind of idea. And originally there was going to be like a gold chain in this. And it was just like, I took the jacket off, I put on the chain, and I was just like, hey, you know, there's something to this. There's something to this. Oh, if you zoom in real close, you can see my nip-nops. And it was just like, there was something to this. But unfortunately, the mic for the lav had to be placed right here, and the clattering of the metal against it just made it so that it was too difficult. So we tossed that out, and we landed on, you know, this outfit. And, you know, this was the first test of, oh, if you zoom in real close here, you can see, oh, this is Trevor. Oh, my gosh, Trevor Taylor. Starts with the T. I'm so sorry. He was the I believe he's the line producer. I believe this is the line producer, but this is him popping out of the bathroom. So the expression of shock is very honest here, because we're just like taking a picture. He's just like, oh, this guy. I feel real bad about this, but it's just really funny to me. But this test was important because if you look real close, you can't see my nip-nops. Thankfully. But this test was important because we originally didn't know if this pink on the tips was going to work, because we were originally going to bleach the edges of it and dye it pink. But with synthetic mustaches like this, you can't bleach them. There's nothing to bleach. It's a thin synthetic fiber. My lisp. It's a synthetic fiber. I can't do S's and ths. Like I have trouble with thesaurus and words like that. But the synthetic fiber doesn't bleach out. There's no color to bleach. It just is what it is. So we ended up painting it. And out in the real world, it doesn't look perfect. But on camera with color correction, it sold it. Like it did. And like this was a mustache that we got from the same place we got the Colonel's mustache. Amy got this. And then it was just a slight upturn. And I was like, that's good. Because at the end of the day, the very important thing to remember about this is my intention of this bridges the gap between Who Killed Markiplier Colonel and present day Warfstache. This version of Warfstache exists exactly in the middle. The turning point between where he was and who he is now, the moment of realization when it comes to that existence. This is where he's transitioning. You know, if there was any, it's a loosely defined line, obviously, of madness when you slip down the slope. But if there was ever a moment that I wanted to exist, this was the moment. So that's like important in both the characterization of who he is, like the environment that he's experiencing this moment in time. When you tell a story, you're always telling a story in the mindset of why is this moment important? And this moment is important to like both Abe and to Warfstache. Like that's very integral to what I was trying to get through in this. But more importantly, hey, wanna buy some drugs? Okay, anyway. So that's extremely important in my mind to remember. So those were just some other alternate costumes of what could have been, but it ends up that we landed on this. And I'm very happy. Okay, scooting back. Oh, this was a scene. I was like, we had a few shots of people running out, and then I was like, what if people run out still dancing? Like they're, I just had this idea. I was like, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if people like were running in a panic, but half of them were still dancing like on the way out? See, that's why you see people going like this, like, because we were like, if your birthday is from January to June, you're dancing. If not, you're not dancing. And so some people are like running in a panic, and some people are still like, the party's gotta live. Also, you'll see like, oh, wait, hang on, wait, let me zoom back. So, her right there, leaving the club. Her right there on stage. That's not a story thing. That's just like we didn't have that many extras, so we had to make do with what we had. I love that moment so much. That was another thing where I was just like, would it be funny if like we had some guy in the background just like completely oblivious to everything that's going on and just like freeze. I just love this so much. Just the freeze, ooh, just like that. And there was a better take of that. There really was a better take of that. Let me show you the other take. There was a better take, but unfortunately, you'll see why I couldn't use it. It was so good though, but I couldn't use it. It's such a shame. Let me see if I can find it. It's somewhere here. My computer lags whenever I try to load up this goddamn project. Okay, I think it was this take. Was it this one? Oh yeah, it was this one. Yeah, so we had a better take of it, but it was just like no music is so weird. 'Cause he's just like the reaction of it is so good, but you could see like for safety reasons, because this is not a real gun, it's a BB, but it's a very realistic fake gun. So for safety reasons, just because we had so many extras, we had to pull the clip just to like legally, like there was something about it, so you could see that there was no, and I didn't want to digitally add that in because it would have been a pain in the ass to do. So yeah, but oh man, that was one of my favorites. Okay, anyway, so back to the.
Get your ass down here. Don't move, asshole. Show me your hands. Not like that. Put him down.
Love it. Oh my god, I love that. I love this sequence so much. Just something about it just tickles me every time I watch it. Just like there's like because I didn't know how this is gonna turn out, but then when I was editing it, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Show me your hands.
Not like that. Put him down.
And when I was there's the thumbnail for this live stream. And when I'm doing this, sometimes like happy little accidents, like Bob Ross says, happy little accidents come across. This sinking right here.
Like that. Put him down.
Like the down and the scoop there just tied into the music before I even had to do anything. And I'm like, oh my god, I have to use that shot now. I was gonna anyway, but just like the fucking, it's so funny. And I know I'm laughing at myself here, but it's just like, it's so, I love it when things time up like that. Also, wait, what's the key to scoot forward frame by frame? Boom! Looks real, don't it? That's me. I put in special effects there. You would never know. Boom! It's even got the gas after. Pretty good, right? Boom! Little tip on if you want muzzle flares to look real. They're always bigger than you think they are. and they gotta cast light. That's the thing about it. I did it cheaply here because it lit up the background too, but it did the effect like quick. It's only one frame, so like it's gotta cast light. That's the thing. You have to cast light with it. That's something that people often forget. There's also, if you're doing muzzle flares, layer a few of them. Layer multiple ones. Like I had some sparks coming out of here. I had a big cloud. I had a small cloud. These are separate clouds of fire. This is a separate element. Like, and then light it. And then it looks realistic when you play it. And it's like, oh, okay. Smoke, like, in the other frame here. And it's like, and then, boom. Easy peasy. Easy, free, beautiful. Not too hard. Look at me, pro dodger. Definitely missed me. Didn't hit me at all. Yeah. And then, whoa. Ping. That was me. Look at this pro level special effects job that I did. Definitely good and took a lot of time to do. I bought the Action Essentials pack just for this video. Anyway, so what I want to say here is just to show you another little piece of something that I like is just that shot with the second spin, like just all of it together was easily my favorite thing ever. Oh no, it's a nested. Oh, I forgot this is a nested sequence. All right, we're diving. Just this whole sequence, I just really love this one. Just like
Damn it!
From start to finish of this
Your
shot.
hands up in the air! No, not like that. Put them down! Damn it! Stop!
Because like it looks so stupid when you don't have the cuts, the edits, the music. Like when I showed the story cut to the rest of the team, there was no music in it. So when it came down to this looks really slow, like cumbersome. It looks ridiculous. But if you have the idea in your head, stick to your guns, because I knew this was gonna turn out. I've edited enough stuff, and I'm like, I know this can turn out. I know this can work. If you've got an idea and you're like, I know this can work because I've done things before like this, stick to it. Because
not like that. Put them down.
This, like the piece of that, like just this, I didn't know this was gonna be my favorite thing in the world. Like, whap, whap, whap. And then this, like, I didn't know that was going to be my favorite thing. And I dodged way late here, but I was able to cut into that one. I don't even think I used this one. Did I use this one? I must have used this one. And then this spin, I think I used a different spin for this. Like, it was, yeah, this spin. Way better spin, but it's just like, I do it multiple times so that you can cut and piece it together. Like, this one, better, no, not a better dodge, but better spin. Like, just like, like, that's not sped up. That should be me spinning real hard. Boing! Or is that sped up? That might be sped up. Ah, it's sped up 120%. That's sped up. Bing! But yeah, it's just like, I love it. I love editing. I love editing because it's like, I love writing. I actually really do like directing, and I like editing just because it's like, it's you're painting with colors that you made. Like, you film it, you have the idea, you make the colors, and then you're painting it together. So it's like, it's a multi-step process that relies on you sticking to what you know and also adapting to what you don't know, which is just sometimes really fun. Takes a lot of work, but that was a fun 3 days. Goddamn. Okay, so you can see here like the color droops in this shot. Color goes down. Back to, I believe it's like 75 or 100 saturation.
Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground right now!
Well, why'd the music stop?
You're not getting away from me this time.
You can't see. Sorry. Okay, you see the color droops right here. I'm doing that a lot. Right
Move your hands!
here, you can see the color droops from top to bottom, and then that it just goes with the music. It's just nice
Get down
thing.
on the ground! Get down on the ground right now!
Well, why'd the music stop?
You're not getting away from me this time, asshole. I said, get your ass down on the ground.
Do I know you, friend?
I said, get down on... What? How do you not...
Okay, so everyone's favorite question. Why the hell, what the hell, how the hell is Warfstache back here? From theories of, is that even... hey, is that even really like Warfstache that he's talking to? Is that really something like what, did he move? No. Number one, I want to point out, no, he didn't move. There's a shoulder here. We put a shoulder there for a reason. Also, this was just an idea I had on set. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we had this idea? And like the main.
Stop playing games. Get your ass down on the ground before I blow you right here, right now. Away.
Peekaboo. Dave? The main thing I wanted to show about this is it's less about trying to piece together what Warfstache can do and more just showing things aren't what they seem. This is the first, not the first, but this is the most obvious idea that things are not what they seem. Like that's pretty much it. I mean, if you didn't pick it up from him shooting at Warfstache and Warfstache just dancing the bullets away, this is like the most blatant red signal, both to the audience and to Abe, that something is weird. Abe can't see it, of course. He doesn't know, but it happens when he questions. That I wanted to convey. It happens when he questions something. He's like, get down on the, how do you not know who I am? In what universe where I have been chasing you all this time, how do you not know? Like, what? It happens exactly at the same time. Like, I really wanted to have that. And it's just like, this is a casual thing. Also, the only time Warfstache has ever been able to take a drink out of that. He's never been able to take a drink any other time.
Ass down on the ground before I blow you right here, right now. Away.
Dave? Dave! Dave? Dave. Greg. Steve. Bill. Dave! I knew I recognized you. How are you? How's the wife?
Yeah, so basically from here on out, it's just like the rest of this is just dialogue that I thought was funny, conveyed that Warfstache doesn't know Abe. Abe is still just like very, very serious about all of this. And yeah, that's pretty much Dave. Who's Dave? Dave is just a random name that Warfstache pulled out. Dave. Who's Dave? Like he's just trying to connect the dots of who this is. This is not like, oh, his memory's failing, he's pulling up a Dave. This is just if there's a guy that says he knows you and you don't know him, you're pulling a name out of your ass and shooting for the stars. Like that's why he's just like Dave.
Greg. Steve. Bill.
Greg. Steve. Bill. Like it's not any of those names. He's just taking stabs in the dark. And then just committing to one just because he's like, oh, sure.
How are you? How's the wife?
I don't have a wife. Stop stalling. You're under arrest for the murder of way too many people to even count.
Well, that's just ridiculous. I would never kill anybody.
And this is just like, the Martini comes up, and this is like, everyone loves the Martini. I love the Martini. I hated the Martini during filming, but I love like the idea of the Martini like throughout it. Because I wanted some kind of device for Warfstache to hold that shows just like, why does he have a Martini? I just want people to ask. Like, a lot of these things that I wanted in this video is like, okay, like that's fine. It's a little bit of not reality that like it's something that you can accept that leads you down into the road of like, this is weird. It's weird for the sake of weird. No one in the theory world questioned why he had a Martini or how he had a Martini. They were only worried about, did he get a drink out of the Martini? Like that, I love that concept of something like where something so nonchalant and doesn't have any place into it, but people care so much about the Martini. Like let our boy have a sip of his Martini, and it's just like I love that idea. There's no big story element around the Martini. That's not like the key to all of this. It's just like that's just a simple thing that I added, and it gives a character more personification. Like in improv, they teach you to, when you are in a scene, object work. You want to do something. You want to hold something. You want to be working on something because it gives you more definition of your character through how you interact with an object. Like Warfstache trying desperately to get a sip out of this damn drink. And what's happening here is like, what I was going for is like, it's butting up against my mustache and I can't get to the straw.
All right. Well, whatever you say, buddy.
Okay, so transition, obviously. Transition that Warfstache doesn't fully understand how he got from A to B, but, you know, that's okay. Oh, well, it's all right. He's seen it before. It's happened before. Why not?
You ran a real good race there, buddy.
And then the film noir kind of like jazz, some light, smooth jazz kicks in. It shows that, like, this is in the detective story. Now, it went from the club, very bright, even like their dialogue after, like, the music went out. Still bright, still colorful, still, like, not 100% in either of their elements, but still colorful, kind of like 50-50. This is like a meeting ground between the two of them. Like, they're both equal parts of this, like, moment. Like, this is, and I like to show the band just, like, nonchalantly, like, when the hell is this shit gonna be over so we can get back to the party? I just love that about them. Yeah. So anyway, in here.
You ran a real good race there, buddy. But it's the end of the road for you. The law's gonna throw every book they have at you, and after that, they're gonna throw you in a cell, and after that, they're gonna throw away the key. And after that, they're gonna throw that cell into a lake. But not before I throw a few things at him first. We're gonna play pin the tail on the donkey, but he's the donkey, and the tail is my feelings. But I shouldn't get ahead of myself. I only get one night with him to fill the hole in my heart he left behind. It's finally time to get some answers.
Did we date at some point?
No, we didn't date. The hole is a metaphor for when you shot me in the...
Okay, more movie magic is just like this shot. All it is a guy with a light running at the car. Like, that's all it is. That's all it is. And I cut it in a way that makes sense logically. Like, if I bring up the Premiere file again, like you can do so much with just some lights, controlled environment, and a few cuts. Like, this is all it was. Like, there's no special effects here. Like, we didn't need any. It conveys the message. Ah, cut. Conveys the message. A few sound effects. That's it. There's nothing there. There's obviously nothing there. And also, when you're cutting, little tip for people, when you're cutting to a different frame, you want to repeat the action just a little bit of the previous frame. Like, in this one, he's already turned all the way forward, but I want to catch him turning again. And as the video moves, it's like you don't notice it in the moment because your brain connects the dots automatically. That's a lot of the reasons why movies in 24 like get away with a lot of the tricks that they do. And if you're editing 24 frame per second footage versus 30 frame per second footage, or even 60 frame per second footage, you can get away with a lot more, and you can let the brain fill in the gaps between information. Like this, the light's already past him, but the light's just getting on me, and the light passes me. But then when I cut back here, it's a different shot of the light passing again, but then he's moving. So it's technically in your brain a different moment that continues the light. When you're watching this, like, some of you obviously can pick this out because you have a good eye for it, but the average person watching this, it's convincing. Like, the light's passing, it's very frantic with the cuts because more cuts mean your brain accelerates to the action that's happening, and then it's like the diving, repeat the dive, and then come back, and then jostle. Like, we went right. You can see my fro going just to the right there. You know, we left, right. Like, you can just enough clues to give the eye something to follow. And it's like, this seems totally cool. Like, this seems totally fine. And like, if you look at any one of them individually, it doesn't look right. Oh, that's too quick. Like, I wanted it to last longer, and you can make something last longer by having multiple ooh, where am I? Having multiple little frames of it, you can, and then that's it. But that was too quick. What we want is the drama of the whole thing, and lasts exactly as long as it needs to be. Yeah, and it's not perfect. I'm not saying this is perfect. This is not like graduate film school level editing here. This is just simple tricks that I did. I didn't look up a tutorial to do this. I just felt it out until it was like, yeah, it's definitely passable. I'm definitely okay with it. Why not? Why wouldn't I be? Yeah, and that's it. But anyway, so sorry, I just wanted to nerd out about that for a little bit. Let me switch back.
Holy shit, that was close.
We could have taken them.
What the hell does that have to do with... How are you... How many fingers am I holding up?
4.
Aardvark. Pumpernickel.
What are you doing?
Calabasas.
Are you okay?
How are you in my head?
Why are you shouting?
Get out of my head!
You're still shouting!
I love that. I love so much of this video. You don't understand how much I love this video. I am so happy with how this came out. Like, I'm so happy with how this came out because not only does it show like, hey, this stuff can happen and this stuff can happen on a budget and it's possible to keep doing it, but also just like for my own personal sake, like I have learned enough to this point that I can make something like this whenever I want. Like, that's such a freeing thought for me, and it's taken 6.5 years of learning about like how things work. And when I personally come from a background where I went into YouTube being like, I want to make sketch comedy, but I can't. I don't know how. And now I can make this almost movie quality level thing, and it's like there's obviously some nuances to it that aren't professional, and like there's some stuff about it that's not perfect, but it's like this is really like, honestly, I can look at this and I'm very proud of how this came out. And not say that I'm not proud of Who Killed Markiplier and I'm not proud of like A Date with Markiplier. Those are great things, but also those had flaws and those were learning experiences. This comes down to something where it's even more, and there's parts of this video that I don't know how to do. I don't know how to light those scenes correctly. I don't know how to make like sure the camera's in focus all the time, like doing that stuff. Being able to like play to my strengths, which is stitching a story together and editing it together and writing it in the first place, and then adding in these strengths of people that really know their shit. Like, that's a really cool experience, and I wouldn't be here unless like you guys gave me the chance to do this. So it's just really cool. But anyway, it's taking way too long just like getting into this. So I want to cover a few things real quick. A lot of people were like, oh my God, how is he in the detective's head? And a lot of people were like trying to quantify like the how, the why, the what of it. And I'm not going to explain too much about it, because in explaining too much about it, you get even more questions. Because at the end of the day, it's like what Warfstache was said, and it's like what I wrote very intentionally at the end of it. You're too focused on the minutiae of it, the details, the who killed who, the who slept with who. Like, it's not only just a message to Abe, it's a message to anybody watching it, because it's not just tongue-in-cheek being like, don't look into it too much. It's important to remember that the viewer in this universe isn't just a person, it's character. The viewer is a character. That's something that cannot be forgiven or forgotten in anything that I do for these. Like, that may change in the future, but in this universe, the viewer is a character. Do not forget that. Ever. So, anyway, I just want to like be very clear about that. Like, don't focus too much on the minutia of it. Like, a lot of Warfstache's character is about, this doesn't make sense, but oh well, like, it's fine. Abe doesn't have that same mindset, you know? Like, that's why he's so conflicted about it. Like, he's so unbelievably conflicted about it because it doesn't gel with his version of reality. Like, his version of reality is like in his own mind, and he like justifies it. I draw a lot of inspiration from other sources when I make these things, because I feel like there's a lot of ideas out there that are really cool. Like and again, nothing I'm saying is like answering a question. I'm not answering any questions here. That's not what I'm doing right here. Not until I get to the end of it, like of watch through. But I just want to say right here, right now, number one, don't focus on the minutia of it. Number two, don't try to forget that the viewer is a character. And number three, like, I draw a lot of inspiration from other ideas. That doesn't mean that they're exact copies of the idea, but in, for example, Soma, when you were playing in Soma, you thought, the main character thought he was human the whole time. He justified it in his mind. Reality shaped itself to be that thought. But on closer observation, it turns out he was a machine when he looked in that mirror. First time he looked in that mirror, he was fine. He was a human. Second time he looked in that mirror, he was a machine. What's the truth? And what's the lie? Like, that concept is very interesting to me. And again, this isn't answering a question in this video. This isn't answering a question in anything in the universe. This is an idea that I like and something that I can utilize in terms of storytelling that I can appreciate it. Doesn't mean that it answers anything. Not answering any questions here. Just remember that. And just, like, keeping a mind open to that possibility. Yeah, because one of the things that I wanted to do in this video is to not convolute the story any more than it did. There was so many changes that I wanted to make in Who Killed Markiplier during it that I ended up, like, crossing the streams on a lot of things, and I didn't get my point across in the way that I wanted to, and therefore I tried to make my point after the fact, and you can't do that. Like, I realized very quickly I can't do that. That doesn't mean that I don't beholden anything I said when I was explaining it. That just means that I wish I was able to plan it better and tell what I wanted to tell in the story itself instead of explaining it afterwards. That's why I'm saying here, I'm not answering any questions in the video because this video does a great job at explaining the concepts. And I know that because there are some people in the theory world on Tumblr and whatnot that have almost exactly nail on the head said what I wanted to say in this. And that tells me that I did decently enough that people can get the idea behind it. So, continuing. Oh. Before I do that, I want to show you, like, the various takes that we had trying to get that right. The zippy zap. Just like the anticlimactic. Just so many takes of just, This is like just us screaming endlessly, just over and over and over again.
Why are you shouting?
Just also, our throats were like so thrashed by the end of this that we just, I don't know, it's just super funny.
How are you in my head? Why are you shouting?
It's just like that. It's so anticlimactic. And then I'm like, I have an idea about that. Like, me, it's super hard to direct and also be in the scene at the same time. It's like, can I do it? It's just like so dumb. Oh yeah, this is just us doing it over and over again. I'm just like practicing the zoom for the transition. I'm just gonna let this play. This is so funny because, like, when you watch the video, you don't realize that there's just these moments. Like, look how long it takes me to get my face into Warfstache territory. Like, just look how long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're locked in. Like, that's how long it takes me. 5 full seconds to get my face to go Warfstache. I love the zooms. Oh god, the zooms. But this one, the one I used, was so funny. Just that. I love that. The little jostle. I love it. Whenever I would come back from like a film shoot, I would just be like, Amy, you have to see this. Because every day that I came home from this, I was like, this is so good. It looks so pretty. And then I'd show Amy and she'd be like, oh my God, so pretty. Like when I showed her the disco stuff, she was just like, I'm going to cry. This is so pretty. And I was like, oh God, it's so good. So, yeah, that's that. That's all I wanted to show you. It's just that. I love that so much. All right, continuing on. We're going to speed up a bit.
Enough games.
Your ass is mine for the next 24 hours. And I'm gonna take my sweet time with that ass to get answers out of it from you.
Did I do it again? I did it again. God damn it. 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 I'm sorry. Okay, let me back up a bit. Let me just like... Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're going back. We're going back because I'm an idiot. All right. So what I was saying was I loved writing Mick's character. He played the detective so unbelievably well because some of you may know this. God damn, to go through this whole thing again. I'm such a fucking asshole. I'm such a goddamn asshole. Anyway, so some of you may know that the detective originally in Who Killed Markiplier was supposed to be played by me. He was going to be another version of myself that's played like all over the place. And that would have made it physically impossible. So we brought Mick in because I knew Mick. I knew he was a voice actor. I was like, hey, I visualized you could be a good detective like character. Would you like to be a part of this? And of course he said yes. And then he just made the detective. He made the detective like, oh, he brought him to life. And so when I made this series, like, or this video here, and I wanted to tell the story of like Warfstache from then to now, like there was no other character than it could be with him besides Mick. And like another thing that I've learned about storytelling is you don't get character development, or you don't understand a character just by him being by himself. You understand a character based on how he interacts with other people. And there's no other character that had more deep ingrained need to interact with Warfstache than the detective. Like, it was such a perfect thing because I also set up this whole idea with the detective's line from the end of Who Killed Markiplier, the fourth part of it, where he went, "Colonel, if you can hear this, you better run." Like, it was so perfect. So if you guys haven't given love to Mick yet, like, give him some love, show him all the love in the world, go subscribe to his stuff. He makes cool animations. Like, he's a great voice actor. Just Mick's the best. Love Mick. Oh, he's so good. Yeah. So when it comes down to what we have here, like, it's just like this scene, I didn't know how it was going out because I didn't know how I was going to like show it, and I didn't know how I was going to showcase it, but just Mick just launched into this avalanche of like emotion and like perfect like nuances of the dialogue, multiple takes, like it just made it beautiful. So great.
Well, I suppose I could stay here a while, get comfortable. Lovely place you've got here. Could use a bit more color.
Enough with your bullshit. Do you have any remorse? Any remorse at all for the things you've done? Or are you too much of a coward to face your crimes?
Well, there's no need for name-calling. Words can hurt, you know. You should be kind and courteous.
Name-calling, huh? And, what name would you prefer, huh? is it? William J. Butterfield.
Well, now there's a name I have.
Wilson Jackson Bartholomew III.
Well, now I actually married into that name.
Wingleheimer. Wait, just Wingleheimer?
All right, I may have been having a little bit of fun with that one.
Name after name after name after name, just so you could distance yourself from the real name you should be called. Murderer.
Abe.
Okay, so getting through all that, like, it's just such. It was so nice to be able to write this scene, because a lot of like what the film noir stuff in this is, it's cliches, right? It's cliches. This is the moment. This is like mixed characters moment. He knew this day was coming. He was going to confront the Colonel, and he was going to show him all of his crimes, and he was going to like have his time to like point his finger, and like he doesn't know what he's going to get out of it, but he's practiced this speech. He's practiced all of this. He knows what's going on, but one important thing is one of these names surprises him. If he's been looking at these things forever and ever and ever, why would one of these names surprise him? Why would one of them surprise him like he's reading it for the first time? Like he's like this speech, he's been waiting, like, and this is just a callback to when this stuck in the beginning, but he's been waiting for it. You could see it in him. He's like, he's gonna take his sweet time with that ass, and it's just like, ooh, I'm gonna get you. Like this is his time. Like all this. Look at all this evidence. Look at the evidence. He's, ooh, you go look at the evidence. It's just like, and then like, but one name doesn't ring true. Like that's just a little clue that I wanted in there. It's not just because it's a silly name. It's like, it's also just like, it's show-stopping. It's show-stopping in a way.
Wingleheimer.
Because he's like on his tirade and then just stops. Like he's, what the?
Wait, just Wingleheimer?
Yeah, why would he not know that? Anyway, so I just wanted to point that out.
Abe, it's been years. How are you? How are you doing? How's the family?
Oh, I'm doing just peachy, buddy. Because I've been waiting a long, long time for this day to come. So we could sit down, have a chat, catch up, good and proper.
Wow. There we all are.
How the hell did you do that?
That took so many scenes to get, takes to get right. It took about 6 to 7 takes of just like slow pan, because I had to we had to hold the rope so it looked realistic. I had to drop the rope as close to my chest as possible when it came down. I had to lean down left out of my chair. I crawled under the camera because there's this huge rail set up, so I couldn't go behind it because we were back as far as we could go. So I had to crawl under it on my belly below the ground. I bet there's another video showing that. Is there a video showing that? Oh, I don't know if there is. I don't think there is. Okay, I don't think there is because we wouldn't have shot anything where I would have had to do that. But it's just like me crawling on the ground like that. And it's just like, it was very important for this moment because this is the first moment when Abe is confronted by the fact that Warfstache is weird. Like it's just he's looking straight at him. He's like, imagine if you were just looking at someone tied up in a chair. You're looking at him, you're in the middle of his moment. He's been waiting a long, long time for this. Like, and then he's just fucking not there.
There we all are.
How the hell did you do that?
Like it's just like, what the shit?
You look so young.
Yeah. It's just like, it looks so young. It's showing it's far in the future for Warfstache.
Better get your ass back in that chair.
Scene.
Also, how did you get your ass out of that chair? You're gonna tell me. You're gonna tell me how you got your ass out of that chair so I can figure out a way to get it back in that chair.
I love Mick just improvised so many good lines about that. Like he riffed like that thing so many different times, and just like this, I love just the cutaway to this shot. It's so funny.
You better get your ass back in that chair. Also, How did you get your ass out of that chair? You're gonna tell me. You're gonna tell me how.
And what's beautiful is like Mick did such a good job in like his like maintaining of his cadence, like because those are different shots. We move the camera, so those are completely different times that we shot that, but it blends so seamlessly. It's just like because he's so good.
Out of that chair, so I can figure out a way to get it back in that chair.
Oh, there's Celine. My heart still beats for her to this day. But if she saw me, she'd probably carve mine out. What? How did you find all this?
I've always had them. I've been collecting them. Every single scrap of evidence this whole time so that one day.
Another thing, this is just another clue. Like, just I've always had them. I've always had them. Of course I've had them.
I've always had them. I've been collecting.
And then the reason,
every single
like,
scrap.
he's always had them, and then his like brain catches up. Remember like what I said about Soma, and this isn't specifically, but this is an example of where my idea of it comes in. Like, reality is not gelling, but his brain is making up why it makes sense. Like, it's like, of course I've had them. I had them before, I have them now, I have them for you. I have them, I had them, I collected them. Like, for you.
Remember you. Memories start to get jumbled after a while. Sometimes I forget even the simplest of things.
Oh, trust me.
Yes, that's intentional, just for everybody wondering. I wanted something that wasn't over the top. Like, just in case, like, again, I'm just reinforcing the same idea. There's nothing new in a lot of these things, but it's reinforcing it just so people can get the pattern. Like, this tiny little, like, shake here, this tiny thing.
Oh, trust me.
It was just, that's it. And there's a little noise, there's a little shake, and that's it. That's it. Like, but I wanted a small thing. Like the Martini, small thing. Like, just a small thing. It doesn't have to be big, grandiose, like getting out of a chair and moving across, but just reinforcing the idea. I want to get it more and more.
Think about all the horrible things you've done. Once they throw you in a cage, then throw away the key, and then throw that. How the hell do you keep doing that?
Things get jumbled so easily. The when, the where, the why, the how of it all. Who can keep track of it? I wonder what he's up to. You see him? Maybe I should stop by.
You seriously need to get back in the chair. I've got more rope. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, worth a shot. Oh.
Okay, so a lot of people question, yes, that's Damien's picture. Yes, it's just like, I say, I wonder what he's up to. You seen him? Maybe I should stop by. That's all I say. And like, people can read into that whatever they want, but all it is just like, it's what I felt he would say, like if he saw that picture at that moment. So like, a lot of people could like draw a lot of conclusions out of it, but it is, again, don't look into it. And that's not to say don't look into it because I didn't think about it, because I did think about it, and I meant that very specifically for a reason, but also that reason doesn't have to be anything too complicated. That's what I'm saying about that.
What? Oh, you don't remember? Ah, it's okay. Probably hasn't happened yet. But some of your finest work, I have to say. A little spoiler alert for later to make it easier on you. We all did it.
Okay, this is like the most heavy-handed clue that I could possibly give, and probably the clue that a lot of people started to understand what was going on, the people that did get it, like this clue right here. It may seem like an off-the-cuff joke, but this is a very clear reference to Midnight on the Orient Express? Wait, no. Yeah. Murder on the Orient Express. That is very clearly a reference to Murder on the Orient Express. A lot of people like this glosses by, like it's just a joke. People get it, people don't get it. If they don't get it, they don't care. Like, it's just something telling about the future, like of something else. But a lot of people latched on the fact like, oh, that probably hasn't happened yet, and not what it was. Some people did, some people didn't. Like, Murder on the Orient Express is a book about, and a movie, but a book about murder on a train stuck in the snow. The clue being, spoiler alert, that all the passengers committed the murder together. Like, that's the idea. But it's not about what the story is. It's about the fact that he's talking about clearly a story that everyone knows. Just like, that is the crux to take out of it.
That's the idea to take out of it. Not the fact that it hasn't happened yet, although that is something to keep in mind. Not the fact that I'm being cheeky about it with Warfstache and breaking Abe's mind with this bomb of knowledge that he knows something or he has something on the board that he doesn't know anything about, which is conveyed. But the more important thing to know is that it's a story.
Spoiler alert for later to make it easier on you. We all did it.
I don't understand.
No.
And then obviously the bullet doesn't do anything.
Save that for later.
And a lot of people like to draw, and a lot of people were like making tables and stuff about like, what's his power? Like, what's Warfstache's power? He's invincible, time traveler, like teleportationist. Like, that's not the right mindset to go about it, because saying that Warfstache has powers is suggesting that he has any control over what he's doing, or any idea what he's doing in the first place. Like, it's the wrong mindset to go about, like, yes, it's happening, but again, focusing on too much of the details of it. Like, if he's not focusing on the details of it, why should you? Like, that's the idea behind it.
Huh? I don't really know. Honestly, I
really know.
don't understand anything anymore.
Don't understand anything.
But I do remember you. And I remember that there's something.
This music is the Colonel's theme. The Colonel's theme from Who Killed Markiplier, for those of you who remember it.
I've been meaning to give you after all these years. I'm sorry. Get off him! If there's one thing I've learned after all these years, it's that nothing heals like a good apology.
I don't understand anything anymore.
Exactly. None of this makes any sense. That's the beauty of it.
Beauty.
Okay, again, I love the hug. I had that in my mind. It turned out so perfectly. I love that. Just like everything moving on. Love it, 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 love it. And what I love about this next part is just I love Mick's performance so fucking much. From here to the end of the whole video, Mick just steals the goddamn show. Mick is just like, just as far as like a good, truly good actor, like Mick is just super impressive here. Unbelievably impressive. I just want to say, I want to let this like ride to the end. I'll probably stop it once or twice, but yeah, I want to let it ride as much as I can.
What about any of this is beautiful to you? What kind of sick, twisted son of a bitch thinks any of this is beautiful?
Now, what did we say about name calls?
You killed people! So many people! You killed my friends! You killed my partner! You shot me!
Now, it seems to me like you're trying to paint me as the bad guy.
You are the bad guy!
Okay, whoa, hey, whoa, time out. Shoot, oh, whoa, hey, ooh, hey. Like you're trying to paint me as the bad guy.
You are the bad guy!
Trying to paint me as the bad guy.
You are the bad guy!
Damn it, I did it again. Damn it. Okay, I didn't say much though. I just wanted to say, this is the first time I put the martini down. This is the first time I put the martini down. Right here. This is the first time. This is the first time I put the martini down. That is the moment. That's what I want to say there. I can't believe I keep forgetting that. I have no idea. I think I hit it and then I don't. All right, whatever. So, and also I want to say that this moment here, I could watch this over and over again with this. Like, I could when
you are the bad guy!
Like I was in editing and over again. I was just like, oh my god, just.
The bad guy.
You are the...
Just like I could feel the rage, just like I could feel it burning, just like it was every time I watched it, it was so like just powerful. And it was everything that I wanted out of the detective. Like just at first, like, and a lot of the theme about this is like the detective's in control, but like this is his moment. And then this asshole, this murderous asshole comes in and is ruining
his moment. Like, this is his moment. Like, these are the reasons this is his moment. Like, he's like, it should not be his moment. And like, all of his anger is starting to come to a head. His frustration at reality, like his mind keeps bashing up against the shore of reality, being like, no, this is what it is. Like, he goes and like, to again, to mix credit, like, he goes from like questioning, doesn't understand anything anymore. He's lost. He almost goes down the path that he's down at the end. And he does this a few times, just like the what the hell, like questioning. Like, and one thing like Mick is like, if we compare all the way back to like this moment, everyone's favorite moment, my favorite.
Get down it. What? How do you not?
Just like the quick flash of like, what the fuck? Just like this moment, and like you can compare like this to like his complete like loss of understanding of the situation. It's just like it just keeps weighing on him. And it's like this again. It's what I was talking about. Just like repeating an idea over and over and over again. Just like idea. It's the idea of not understanding. It's like the idea is like sprouting roots in his mind. It's like this idea, and then his own version of reality comes crashing forward.
Beauty. What a killed my friend.
Like you're trying to paint me. Seems to me like you're trying to paint me as the bad guy.
You are the bad guy.
Okay, whoa, hey, whoa, time out. Oh, whoa, hey, hey, time out. I get it. You've been hunting me. For years and years and years, you've been chasing me all around the world. From bedrooms to bathrooms to ballrooms. You've been chasing me, and you've been doing a real bang-up job of it. But, and forgive me if this sounds insulting in any way, what would you say our closest encounter was? Before this very moment right here.
When was our closest encounter?
Yeah.
Before this very moment.
Yes.
That's easy. It was when we it was when you that's when you I was hunting you down. I was stalking you. But you fled the country to all right. Yeah. You were off the radar for 3 years, but I got a hot tip. You shacked up you shacked up with
Okay, before we go on to the next section, I just want to say, like, just again, it's reinforcing the same thing. Like, this is where it's blatantly stated. Like where the idea comes to fruition, like this clue, and also it's a clue for Warfstache too. Warfstache doesn't know that Abe doesn't know. Like, he doesn't know that he doesn't know. You know, he from his mindset, everyone. Like, this world doesn't make sense, so all the people in it, like, they get that it doesn't make sense to him. Like, that's reality. But for just the moment here, like, when it comes down to, it seems like you're trying to paint me as a bad guy, seeing the rage, putting the drink down, taking it seriously. Like, he's starting to piece it together from what he's seen. He's done his lap around the room, and he's, like, looked into it. And, so Abe is also, he's asking this question not to try to, like, break him, but to try to get an understanding for himself where he's at. This is a test. This is a test of just being like, are you sure you understand everything that you think you understand? Like, he's testing him to see, like, what he really knows about it, because Abe's in the same boat. Abe's in the exact same boat. The only difference is Abe doesn't know that the boat's leaking. You know what I mean?
Closest encounter was before this very moment right here.
When was our closest encounter?
Yeah.
Before this very moment.
Yes.
That's easy. It was when you.
Okay, it's definitely not muted. Okay, yeah, just imagine. Imagine, like, if you were here in this moment, you'd been leading up to this. You have all this evidence. You have all these things. You know you have evidence. You know you have evidence. You know you have a reason. You know that you've been chasing him forever and ever and ever. But if you were ever pressed on the details, the subject of it falls apart. It's as if he was told what he needed to know, but not what it was that he knew. You know, he knew the concept of what he needed to do, but not the details of it, you know? And like trying to pick that apart, like makes the threads of the story fall apart. And it's not like, again, I'm not answering anything specifically. I'm just illustrating like what he's going through.
All right. Yeah, you were off the radar for 3 years, but I got a hot tip. You shacked up you shacked up with,
with 3 years. What year was that exactly?
What year?
Yeah.
Well, it was in it was I can't remember.
Okay, so this is when it breaks down. He's saying cliches. He's saying cliches, things that a film noir detective would be expected to say. He's saying things that that logically would make sense, but then when he tries to expound upon it, he can't fill the gaps. Like he just can't do it. Like, because like there's no substance there in him. Like there's no character development in him that explains all these other nuances that he knows he did. You know what I mean? So like when he says like you fled the country, that's something that people do. That's something like you shacked up with.
But I got a hot tip.
Hot tip.
You shacked up with.
You shacked up like that. Details fall apart. And again, not answering anything. That's just reinforcing. Like he doesn't know. And like this is where the final understanding, the piece of the puzzle that doesn't make sense for Warfstache comes in. Like he wants to know when Abe is.
With 3 years. What year was that exactly?
What year?
Yeah.
Well, it was in it was I can't remember.
I thought All right. So, for those of you who are sleuths, you will know that the last piece of music, when he's breaking down, is the same song from when Celine takes you upstairs to the Sears room to go into the upside down or whatever. Don't read too much into like what that means. I just thought it fit with it. But this next piece of music is obviously the music from the end of Who Killed Markiplier. It's this lovely piece that I absolutely have fallen in love with, and it's so subtle and it's so good, I think, in this moment because it's just explaining like the what's going on inside his head. It's sorrowful, it's slow, it's an understanding though, and it's like it's this cool piece of music, and like in this moment, like he Warfstache is understanding, and like I really just. Again, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just love the way this came together with like Mick. And number one, it was fucking hot in this area. It was just so goddamn hot. So that sweat is real just from the heat of it. Like just, and he was like shouting and doing this over and over again, but just like so sweaty. But just like this look of understanding, this look of honest, true curiosity, this complete blankness, this understanding, like this back and forth. Like I love because you can write
a bunch of shit. You can write a bunch of shit, but when it comes down to like expressing feeling and emotion, like words sometimes can't do it. Like the build up and the crescendo of like the emotion of the last scene, like the build up and the down of it, and then like coming crushing down, not hard crush, but it's just like, it just loses all steam. Every bit of his everything is just gone. With one final question, it's just like a killing blow to his understanding. He's grasping at straws. Like, what year? Obviously, I know what year, duh. But then it's just like, well, it was, and this is the last attempt that his brain does to try to rationalize anything. And when he comes up empty again, it's just like, Warfstache can see it.
I can't remember.
This is my favorite moment in the entire video. These three words, just like the way Mick says it, just it was everything I wanted to come across. This is why I love this video so much. It's just like, it's so exactly what I want, and that's why I'm so proud of this one, and that's why I'm so proud like that people are understanding it, is because it's exactly how I wanted it to come out. Like, this is the first time that I've made something that I don't want to change anything about. I don't want to change a damn thing about this because I love it so much.
I've obsessed over this case for years. Every moment of every day spent trying to hunt you down. So why can't I remember? Am I crazy?
I love this moment, like, again, Mick. I sing praises to Mick, but for good reason, because not only is this like just a fucking beautiful power shift. Remember, this scene started with Warfstache in that chair. Like, this is how this scene started. And then suddenly we see the detective in the chair. Like, it's a literal power shift. And that was actually Mick's idea during the thing. I didn't write that in. That was Mick just being like, that's what I wanted. And it's just like, man, it's just like he nailed this so hard.
I've obsessed over this case for years. Every moment of every day spent trying to hunt you down. So why can't I remember? Am I crazy?
I love that look. That look is just so, it speaks volumes of like his mental state, and Mick just nails it because it's this pleading. It's this honest question. He's asking the question to himself, and he's looking to the only person that can give him confirmation for it. Someone that he has every right to hate. He is practically begging Warfstache for an answer to like what the hell is going on. He's like, this look, that it's two frames, and it's just like, it's just this pleading look. Like he's almost on the verge of tears for like this question in his head. Am I crazy? Is he crazy? And it's just like, that's exactly where I wanted the detective to be at this point. And Mick just nailed it so good. It's just like this look. It's like this beautiful sad look of this guy who's at the end of his rope, doesn't understand anything about what's happening. And it's like, and
No.
of course, no. The answer is no. The answer is honestly no. Not crazy. No. Not crazy in a world. You're not crazy because the world doesn't make sense. You're not crazy because of that. The world's crazy. And here, like, a lot of people noticed that I was blending in between, like, the Colonel and Warfstache, and I kind of just was doing that, half because I couldn't stick to one or the other, but half because I did want to weave in between. But here, it's like straight up Colonel. Like, this is how the Colonel talked.
You are not crazy. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you're crazy. You're just too focused on the minutiae of it, the details, the who killed who, the who slept with who. You're not focusing on the big picture.
It's impossible to know things that haven't happened yet.
Yes, exactly. Just like it's impossible to survive a bullet through the heart.
Okay, so with this, I wanted to really convey that, like, this is like what we've all thought, like everyone who's watched this has thought, because when we go back to Who Killed Markiplier in the last episode, Abe is shot. Abe shot through the heart. This isn't like some people were like, he saved the bullet from when he did it and he shot him right there. No. Warstache doesn't need to shoot him again. He's already shot him. Like, this is something. The Colonel shot him. Warstache isn't shooting him. Like, and don't read too much into that. Like, I'm not saying they're two different people. They're the same person that changes, like, down the tunnel of madness. But it's just like the Colonel already shot the detective, and he apologized for it. Like, he's not going to shoot him again. Yeah. So, but this, what this is, that's not a heartbeat. This is wrong. That's not a heartbeat. That's a gunshot. So, let me show you exactly what that is. Like, it's hard to pick up, but there was no way that I could do it without it being very subtle and not obvious, because I didn't want a loud booming noise here. So what this is this is 1 second. Okay, here we go. So this might be loud, but bear with me. Okay. So this is from the It's a 44 Magnum. It is the exact same sound effect I used when the detective was shot in the first place. Let me turn down the volume. It's the exact same. When he shot him in Who Killed Markiplier, that is the same sound effect, but distant echoing through, like, to this moment where it's the last nail in the coffin that this place doesn't make sense. Not that, like, the lesson isn't that, oh, you're dead. Like, that's not the lesson. The lesson is, this doesn't make sense. That's the theme that's been hammered. Like, when I read a story, I try to, like, always, I'm not trying to, now anyway, I'm not trying to introduce new concept every single time something happens. I'm reinforcing the same concept. This doesn't make sense. That's what I'm doing. Like, it's impossible to know things before they happen. Yes, it is impossible. Like, it's absolutely impossible. Yeah, and it's impossible for this to happen, boing. And it's like, Warstache isn't shooting him again. He's simply pointing out he was shot. Like, that is a gunshot. And then this practical effect of this thing, also vape pen, this was just, he didn't even realize that he was holding it. It was at the end of the day, and he had to wait there a while to get this set up, because we threaded a hose up and glued it to the tip here, and then we had blood actually pumping out of that. But so he was holding the vape in there. But it kind of works out because the vape is there throughout the whole thing. Remember, we shot this on the first day, and then everything else was, I was like, yeah, put a vape in your hand. Put a vape in your mouth. And I was just like, yeah, whatever.
This was all a nightmare that I couldn't wake up from. My heart was pounding Morse code in my ears, but I never learned the language. My mind was like a hamster ball rolling down the freeway. No matter how fast I went, I couldn't keep up with the flow. It was my first year of clown college all over again, and
Nope.
Okay, so, like, obviously he's going into his own world. He's retreating. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. But in this, like, with the color, it's not just he's slipping into a monologue. He's slipping into his role again as the detective. Like, this language isn't necessarily just to contemplate the reality of it. It's himself justifying what's happening in a way that makes sense to his character. Like, a detective would say these things. A detective would say these things in the face of crisis. But that's not accepting it. That's not realizing it. It's seeing, like, something that's so earth-shatteringly, like, mind-breaking, and handling it in the only way that his established persona knows how.
my mind was like a hamster ball rolling down the freeway. No matter how fast I went, I couldn't keep up with the flow. It was my first year of clown college all over again.
Like, it was my first year of clown college over again. That's just another clown joke, but he was going to keep going. Like, he was going to keep going. Like, he was probably, if this hand didn't come in here, you know how these beginning shots, they're slides, they're wipes, they continue from one scene to the next, they keep moving. He would have drifted right off. When I say,
No drifting off just yet.
When I say no drifting off just yet, I'm not saying no going to sleepy, sleepy, bye-bye. He's not passing out from blood loss. I literally mean, don't go anywhere. I'm not done yet. Like, listen, I'm not done yet. Like, no drifting off. Because if that would have carried on, then that would have just been another, like, chapter in the story of the detective and his crazy adventure with, like, the colonel. But that's not what I see needs to happen right here. Warfstache sees that Abe needs something. Abe needs it. Like, he's unintentionally pushed Abe to this point, but he's not going to leave him behind. At least not this time. He's not going to leave him behind because he sees, like, the need of someone who is in the exact same place as he was. And repeat, was.
Listen, friend. It was a bit of a shock for me, too. Life needed a bit of madness, but why should death be any different? But I think the stress is getting to you a little bit. You need to unwind. You're a freshly born fawn trying to find your legs in a world that doesn't make sense. So just for tonight, let's forget about all the chasing and the killing and the shooty, bang, bang. God, you're a murderer. And just for tonight, why don't we have a little fun?
Okay, so everything that I just said is exactly what I say in here. Like, I'm, again, not saying anything new. This is reiterating a point. Like, it was a shock for me too. Like, because he sees Abe as he was long time ago. Remember, this is a long time along the storyline for the colonel into Warfstache. Not even at the end of it. Not even close to the end of it. Not even anywhere near where it was. But it's a long time. He looked at the corkboard and he said, "We look so young." It's been years for Warfstache. But Abe cannot remember what year even happened. He has no recollection of anything happening. This takes place for Abe immediately after the events of Who Killed Markiplier. Not years. Like, that's what I wanted to stress in this one. He thinks it's been years. His mind tells it's been years. Like, everything in his core says it's been years. He's been collecting this evidence forever, but he can't remember a single scrap of it. He can't remember a single thing. This is immediate. This is immediately after. And that's like something that Warfstache sees in Abe. Like, he's a freshly born fawn.
Life needed a bit of madness, but why should death be any different?
Yeah, and he's literally saying, like, why should death be any different? Like, don't let death get in the way of you understanding this weird world, or to a more specific point, not understanding this weird world.
But I think the stress is getting to you a little bit. You need to unwind.
Yeah, it's too much. Like, he's presenting too much right now. So, and Warfstache knows this. And Warfstache knows that too much at a single point in time can be too much for anybody, even him. And he's already broken. Like, so he knows that the detective, like, what he needs is a break of character. He needs to get out of this depressing, like, film noir black and white cycle that he's in right now. He needs to unwind. Like, that's it.
You're a freshly born fawn trying to find your legs in a world that doesn't make sense.
It literally, this is word for word what Warfstache thinks. I didn't write anything to be like subterfuge here. I didn't write anything to be like allegory or anything like that alludes to anything else. It, literally, word for word, freshly born fawn. It's like you were just born again, trying to find your legs in the world. Like, you're trying to feel this place out, at least from his perspective. From his perspective, finding your legs in a world that doesn't make sense is, to him, making sense of a world that doesn't make sense and learning to live in that world. And this is where Warfstache's character development is shown. He's learned this. He's learned what Abe needs. He learned what it takes to get to this point. He did it all by himself. It took him so long. Abe is practically lucky in Warfstache's mind to have him at this moment so he can show him what it means.
So just for tonight, let's forget about all the chasing and the killing and the shooty, bang, bang. God, you're a murderer. And just for tonight, why don't we have a little fun?
Before we get into that, I realized it was very quiet during that moment, but just like it's the same thing. Here this is basically to represent what I wanted this to look like. It's like
Just for tonight.
all this is it's meant to look like a VCR rewinding, because I just wanted this transition to come across like something rewinding. This isn't Markiplier. There's nothing to be gleaned out of it. When you have a VCR rewinding, especially the pre-made effect that I just slapped on here, there's some chromatic aberration anyway. That has nothing to do with Markiplier or anything like that. That's just meant to look like a VCR rewinding. And it does, if you don't think Markiplier. It literally looks like a VCR rewinding. That's all it is. So it's just rewinding. Like, that's all it is. We're going to try it again. We're gonna try it again. Like, that's it. Let's go back to this point and let's like try it again from the top. There it is. Yeah, and then like the color wash. The color wash is symbolic too. The gun in the holster is symbolic, but you know, it's direct. He's accepting it. He's putting the gun away. He's like, it's like putting your coat on a rack. You're hanging up your coat. You're just taking, you know, you're accepting it. You know, he puts the gun away just to be like, okay, all right. And then if that wasn't hard enough, just shrug, dance. And when, like, in that moment, this is like the most crucial thing of the entire story, is like his acceptance of this moment. Like, just shrug, just like whatever. Like, it's whatever. Like, this doesn't make sense. How did he get back here? You can see it in his face. He's almost like, when he looks at it, he's like, you can see the questions going through his head. He's like, how did I get back here? Who are these people? What about, like, should I arrest him? Like, is this, should I try it again? Would it end up the same way? Like, and he's like, all right, well, I guess, yeah, why don't we dance? And like, this is also, sorry, hang on. Okay, like, this is both the credit sequence and it's also still part of the story. Like, they're dancing, they're feeling it out, they're just having fun. Like, what he needed was some stress relief. He's got it. It doesn't matter if he was shot in the heart and it's impossible to survive that right now. It doesn't matter. He's here and like he exists in this moment, and Warfstache is showing him like an opportunity just to try something again. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that you gotta like read into, and that's the point. It's not there. It's not obscure. Like, if anything, it's the opposite of obscure. It's very direct in what it's meaning, and that's why I'm very happy with how this came out. Like, it's no secret. Like, the surface of it is the surface of what it is. Yeah. Like, this video, what I definitely didn't want at the end of this video is for it to be tragic. And it needs tragedy, especially in this moment when he's like realizing the reality doesn't work. But it doesn't need to end tragically. This is not some psycho crazy hallucination afterlife. Like, this is the reality. This is the only reality that he has to deal with. So like, this, to him, to them, this is reality. This is reality, and this is what they got to work with, so make it work. Like, and you could see him like he's picking up the dance more and more. Hey, Amy. You could see him like he's picking up the dance more and more. And then Warfstache is fucking happy. He's like, all right, yeah, hell yeah, man. Get it. Like, live in the moment. Like, this is it. This is all you got. What's the point in asking questions about it? And then that is the end of the series. Then it just gets down to BTS stuff. Nothing at the end after that is any story like sensical about it. But that's what it is. That's what this always was, and that's what I wanted it to be, and that's why I'm so happy that it came across that way. Now, that's not to say there aren't story elements to be gleaned out of it. There aren't story elements to like be seen out of it, and there are still questions to be raised. Like, why did he stop at Damien's picture and ask if he should stop by? That's a question, like perfectly valid question. And just because, and there are questions that the answer won't be in this video. Like I do, like I did with Who Killed Markiplier at the end of it, like with the radio call, like Colonel, if you can hear this, you better run. The question of that wasn't answered until this video came out. Like, this video is the answer to that. Like, I like to tie things into future stuff that I'm going to do, and if I explain it to you, then it's not going to be a surprise. You know what I mean? Make sense? Yeah? What are the masks? I don't know what you're talking about. What? No one's wearing a mask. I don't know what you're talking about anyway. So yeah, that's the point of everything that's going on here. You got to accept the reality of it. And you know, it is like that happened. Like this happened. This happened. It's happened. No drifting off yet. It happened. But for tonight, you know, something else can happen. That's exactly what it is. So there's a few other like little tidbits that I want to show you guys. Just like some breakdowns of behind the scenes stuff going on.
Working. How do I feel everywhere? It looks great.
This was the hardest part about all this is just because I had to like I said, I was directing at the same time. So Dan did a great job because I could trust him to get things to work the way I wanted it to work. After like the first day, I was like, okay, you obviously know what you're doing. You get me now. So like we can make this work. And then like I would just stop by every once in a while to watch footage, and, like play it through, and then yeah, it's just like it's so fun.
You'll see in a second.
Yeah, just being able to like watch it and having this production crew here and just having the people going.
That looks good.
Sorry, that's very loud. Yeah, so it was just like, yeah, it was just really nice. And then, you know, we were able to see it, like, and I was able to like watch that, see what I needed, you know, I was able to get what I needed out of that. I bet we flubbed this turn. Yeah, I flubbed that turn real bad, but that's why we got in a different shot, but yeah. So anyway, that is the breakdown of this stuff. It was a wonderfully fun shoot to be a part of. It was really, honestly, it was really fun. I am immensely proud of every part of this entire thing. And like, it's just super cool to see. Like, it's super cool to see. It's super cool to see. And it's super cool to be able to like make these things come to life. And again, I have to thank the sponsors who were a part of this and the sponsors who helped out on this, because this is what I want to do with the sponsors. Like I said that I wanted like sponsors, and now it's called members, so channel membership. So the sponsor button is now it's a join button. So if you want to help fund projects like this, please consider sponsoring. You get a ton of perks for sponsoring. You get access to these special badges. This is the immediate badge. You get a 1-month badge, 2-month badge, 6-month, 1-year, and 2-year badges. You get all these emojis that you can see in chat. If you're a sponsor and you got emojis, please spam it right now in chat. You get sponsor-only videos at least once a month, sponsor-only live streams, merch discounts, community posts, and sponsor-only merch. And we're still working on that, but we're very close to getting that in there. But just please, if you want to help this was amazing and fun, and we did it super quick, but it wasn't cheap. It was not cheap. We needed like some good stuff. Even if we were doing it poor man's process and all of like the corners that we could cut to make it look like we wanted it to look, but not necessarily be super over the top. Like it still cost around 40, maybe like I think it ended up being like $42,000.
when we were said and done with all of it, like all things considered, with the pre-production planning, the labor, like this stuff like that. And that's like with me editing it, myself editing it. If I wanted to do any special effects, I got to hire that out. But like these things aren't cheap, but they're worth doing. And I want to be able to do it with you guys. And I want to be able to like make these things all the time for you. And I'm not saying this as a pitch to be like, sponsor the channel, like, so I can like be greedier and like have more. Like, that's not why I'm doing this at all. Like this, and that's why I wanted to showcase this specifically. And I wanted to showcase it immediately after I told people about the sponsorship thing. And I wanted to like show this, like, this is what I can do. Like, you've seen Who Killed Markiplier and you've seen The Date with Markiplier, but I can't just talk about like those things and be like, that's only the thing that we got and that's the only thing I want to do. I want to show you guys that like I can make some really fucking cool stuff, and then we can make it. We can make it happen. We can make that reality stuff happen. We can make these things come out, and it doesn't just have to be like this. I can hire, I have this idea for one of the future videos that I want to do. We can hire out like this animation crew to make this cool, like not just a 2-minute gameplay animation, but a whole story of animation. It's just like bringing these things to life, because I love telling stories. And again, this doesn't mean that normal videos are ever going to stop. I know this past week I have not been uploading, but that's because I was on vacation. I didn't really want to be on vacation, but it was good for my health to be on vacation. But these are the things that I want to do. I want to do all of that. I want to do all the gameplay videos. I want to do like these sketches. Like, if I could do these every other month, I would be the happiest man on the face of the entire earth. I would be so happy, and I can. This is feasible. I edited this in 3 days. We shot it in 3 days. We spent, like, in total of all planning, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, tops, of actual planning for this thing. Sourcing locations, getting the crew together, finding a time when they could do it. Like, we can make this. And honestly, like, it's not that hard when you have a good team and, like, you know what you're doing. And I'm not bragging when I say I know what I'm doing. I know it. I made this happen. I had a team helping me. I'm not taking all the credit for it, but I made this. We made this. We made this. That's why. And that's, it's just something amazing. I don't know. It's just, it's like there's a whole world of potential out there. And like everyone's always talking about like, oh, what's the next killer app? What's the next killer thing? And it's like at the core of it all, in my mind, it's always going to come down to the simple desire to share a story. Like it goes back to like when we were just around campfires and you're just telling stories, like just sharing a story, whatever comes out of the imagination. Like it can be a great story. It can be like a funny story, a silly story, like just like sharing stories and making things and pushing the envelope of what people think can be done. You know, that's what I really like about it. And I think this is the perfect start to like this chapter of going down this road where we can see all these cool things. So thank you so much, everybody that's sponsoring right now. I really do appreciate that. And it's like, and I can give a chance for real fucking talented people like Mick to shine. Like, he stole the whole show, and that's fine. Like, at first this is going to be just, it's called Wilford MOTHERLOVING Warfstache. This is not about Warfstache. This is about Abe. Like, he just made it about Abe because it's such a compelling character, and he's told so compellingly. He's told so well. And I was like, seeing these moments, letting him come to life, like the piece of my imagination living on screen, and it's all thanks to you guys. That's just something special. Anyway, yeah. So now that I'm back from vacation, it's gonna be work mode. I'm super excited to get back into the swing of things. Regular videos are gonna start up tomorrow, and it's just gonna be cool. Like I've told you for a while that I was excited for the future. That's because I knew about this for a while, and I was waiting for so long, just be like, I'm fucking ready to launch. Just let me at him, coach. Stop holding me back. I turned out my light again. But this is like, now that it's here, like it's here. It's here. It's happening. We can do it. We can take control of like the creative process completely. Like YouTube was a first step in terms of making what we wanted to make, but this is like, to me, this is the next step. This is the next step. This is the next step of taking YouTube to a level that like no one's ever seen. I love it. I really love it. And I get excited easily, but I get excited because I can see the potential of it. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Most of the music I sourced from Epidemic Sound, just like various royalty-free stuff. It's amazing what you can get nowadays with royalty-free music. Like I can fit super, super nuanced things in there. But this is awesome. So thank you, everybody, for sponsoring. If you want to sponsor, if you haven't sponsored already, please consider sponsoring. Hit the join button down below. It's right here. It's next to where would be the big red subscribe button. Just click on that and just look through all that you get. I've been delivering on these things. I have been delivering on these things, and I've got some special BTS stuff just for the sponsors that I'm going to be uploading. If I can edit it later today, I'll be getting that, but I want to make sure that I get normal videos up first. But I want to make it worth your while, and I think these are good rewards for it. I want to reward people, and I love having a little sounding board for ideas to bounce ideas off of sometimes. I had the sponsors help me pick out a video title for the phone number video. Yeah. But just thank you guys. Please consider sponsoring. Now it's called Please Consider Joining, so please consider joining, become a member of the channel, and thanks everybody for watching. If you have any more questions about this whole video, I will not answer any more because I don't know if I answered any right here, but I did talk a lot about my mindset behind it. So just if you guys want to expound upon it, feel free. I love reading all the theories about it in the various locations. So just talk freely about it. I love seeing people get excited about these products. It just drives me and like keeps the candle burning in my heart. So thank you so much. And also send a lot of love to Tyler. His mom, unfortunately, has cancer. He posted a video about it on his channel. I wrote a community post about it as well. So go either to the community post or go directly to his YouTube channel and find that out. Or his Twitter. You can find it pretty much anywhere. So thank you, everybody, so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Bye!